5 FAQs to achieve top marks in your exam. Good morning, Neil here from Parallel Coaching. How are we doing, Parallel Coaches? So today we're going to be talking about 5 detailed answers to your questions that you sent in over the weekend. We got one question for level 2 A and P, then we go over 2 principles, then third question is level 3 A and P. Number 4 is all about nutrition, and number 5 is about the exercise referral course. So if you have more questions as you join me live on here, drop a comment below. In fact, hit like now, let me know that you can see and hear me all okay, and drop your questions below and I'll answer them towards the end. So over the weekend, we had questions come in from a number of you, but today I'm going to be answering Sean's, Jenny's, Lisa's, Tony's and Danielle's question. Okay, so let's jump in. Good morning, Trevor. Good morning, Tony. How are we doing? Again, if you can see and hear me, drop a comment below and we will kick start. So first questions from Sean, sent in over the weekend, is do I need to know all the muscles for my level 2 A and P exam? So here are your questions, here are my answers. Sean, do I need to know every muscle in the body for my level 2 A and P exam? You need to know 26 muscles for level 2, and very quickly whilst we're here at level 3, you need to know and understand 50. So at very least, you need to understand the location, or the approximate location, the name, the location of 26 muscles for level 2. In your level 2 A and P exam, you're going to have 50 questions. You're going to have 105 minutes to complete them, A, B, C and D, and you need to get 35 out of 50, which is 70%. We know, based on all past papers, you're going to get at least 4 to 8 questions around muscles. Okay, so we're talking about module 5 here in your manual or in the exam, which is the muscular system. In my opinion, the manual does not do a very good job of breaking down the 8 modules at level 2 A and P. But muscular system is module 5. You can get 4 to 8, maybe 4 to 10 questions on muscles. So it's important that you do learn and revise the muscular system and do everything you can to understand where these muscles are located, what they do in relation to exercise. So the other day I actually posted a mock question, which is a typical mock question for the muscular system, and it was, I'll tag you in actually very shortly, which of the following is an anterior skeletal muscle? So first off, we must obviously read the question, but understand what is anterior, being the front of the body, and the opposite to that would be our posterior. So you need to understand key anatomical terms about the body in relation to muscles. And then the last part of that question was skeletal muscle, which is obviously voluntary. So we need to understand voluntary muscles, involuntary muscles, which lead us down to a bit of a rabbit hole of skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, smooth muscle. So inside your manual, inside the Revision Mastery Bootcamp, which I know you've got, which is module 5, it details all of these very clearly. So you know, that's what I love about the Revision Mastery Bootcamp, is you can press play, pause, rewind, go over it as many times as you like to make sure it all sinks in. Okay, so if we just go over that question, which of the following is an anterior skeletal muscle? The 4 possible answers could be rhomboids, trapezius, triceps, and iliopsoas. And understanding the 26 muscles that you need to know at level 2, dotted around the body, mainly global muscles global muscles being ones you can physically touch, so pecs, deltoids, quads, for example. We know it's an anterior muscle we're after, so rhomboids, well, that's in our back. Trapezius, that's in our back as well. The triceps are in the back of our arm, so through process of elimination, the last one, iliopsoas, it has to be that one. So even if on exam day, your mind goes to pop and blank, you can still, through process of elimination, go, well, I know where my rhomboids, they're in the back of my body, that's posterior. I know my traps are in the back of my body, that's posterior. My triceps are in the back of my arm. So even if I didn't know where the iliopsoas was, I could still work this one out. So a good way of doing that, we've seen a number of learners do, is labeling the body. So you could draw very simply on a piece of paper the outline of the body and have that as the front, and label all of the muscles in the front of the body, the back of the body. I've even seen learners put post-it notes all over themselves with the names of the muscles around the body. So from my experience, the more fun you can make your learning, the more likely is you're going to remember and be able to recall that. Okay, so at the very heart of it, Sean, you need to understand 26 muscles at level 2 A and P. And if you're on level 3, you need to know a little bit more about muscles, but you need to know about 50 of them. So let's jump over to Jenny, and I can see a number of questions coming in below. Keep them coming. I will answer them towards the end. So Jenny, this is a principles question, and it was, here we go. How would you correct hyperkyphosis? Hyperkyphosis. So we're talking about an exaggerated curve hunched forwards in the thoracic spine here. Okay, principles being that we're talking about the effects of exercise on the body. Okay, so this would be module 1 of your principles. Ultimately, we're looking at strengthening the back. So we're talking about the rhomboids and the trapezius. So we want to program some isolation, some compound exercises towards strengthening the back and pulling us into this upright position. Okay, alongside having a very clear stretching plan or stretching protocol for the opposite side of the body, being the chest. So if I stretch out my chest and lengthen my chest, but at the same time strengthen my rhomboids and traps, I'm going to improve my posture around hyperkyphosis. However, we do want to kind of make a note here. It's not our job or in our remit to be correcting someone's hyperkyphotic posture. We can improve their posture, but it would be working alongside other professionals, medical professionals, to correct this as well. Very quickly, principles. You do have an exam on this, level 2 people. So level 2, that could be fitness instructor, that could be aqua, that could be kids fitness, exercise to music. But also if you're on yoga and Pilates, you'll also have the same principles exam. I think yoga and Pilates, you guys have got a slightly tougher job because you are more studio mat based, yoga Pilates based, as opposed to the principles of exercise in the gym, which is predominantly what this exam is about. So you're probably more than likely learning stuff that you've never come across before. So stay with it and reach out if you do have any questions. But for principles, you've got 32 questions, which means you've got to get 70%, which is 23 out of 32 to pass. And you've got 90 minutes, an hour and a half. So you've got plenty of time. Take your time. And again, break down these questions in a nice logical format. Okay, the beauty of this is you actually take your body into the exam. It sounds a really stupid and silly thing to say, but let's take this question. How would you correct hyperkyphosis? You think, well, kyphosis, that's in the thoracic spine. So you can actually sit there in that hunched position and think, well, what muscles are tight? What would I need to stretch? What muscles are weak? What muscles do I need to strengthen? So there we go, Jenny. I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, drop them below. Let's jump over to question number 3, which was from Lisa, which is a level 3 A&P question. And there's some confusion. I think a lot of people get confused over this. It's between muscle spindles and Golgi tendon organs, GTOs. So let's jump into muscle spindles to start off with. These are stretch receptors, okay, inside the muscle, okay, and these spindles are all the time conveying a message from the working muscle back to the central nervous system, all about the length of the muscle. So any major changes in the length of the muscle, your muscle spindles, your muscle spindles are fully active, talking back to the central nervous system, the brain, about the length of the muscle. Whereas the Golgi tendon organs are a proprioceptive sensory receptor, okay, and these are inside the origins and insertions of the muscle, sending messages back to the central nervous system all about the tension of the muscle. So if I move quickly and unexpectedly, as an example, the muscle length and tension is going to change. So I now get a message from my spindles and my GTOs up through my central nervous system back to my brain, and now my brain will use that information to tell other muscles to contract or relax to protect my body from injury, okay, at particular joints. So majorly important. Most people, when they are revising this topic, they go over to the muscle section of level 3 A&P, which is module 2 and module 3. Okay, you won't find it in there because we're talking about the nervous system. We're talking about spindles and GTOs. We're talking about the nervous system. Okay, the afferent and efferent messages, the peripheral nervous system, the central nervous system, and the messages that are being sent back and forth from the working muscle to the brain, back to the muscles, back to joints, to bring about movement and protect us from any injury. So make sure you're looking in the right section, Lisa. It is Module 6 in your Revision Mastery Bootcamp, and it will be the nervous system. I hope that helps. Any more questions? It's a tricky topic. I appreciate this one is a tricky topic, so drop it below. Let's jump over to question number 4, which is Tony. And Tony asked, he's doing his case study on level 3 nutrition. And there's a question in there. It doesn't matter which provider you're with. It's going to have a very similar question. So this might be with Active IQ, YMCA, VTCT, Transcend Awards, Future Fit. It doesn't matter who you're with. You're going to get a question in there, something around what is meant by a nutritional recommendation. Okay, this should be very clear inside your manual or online learning, but we're talking about the nice guidelines here, and the recommendation being something that we would give our clients to improve their quality of their nutrition, so and their quality of their health. So this could be as simple as eat less than 6 grams of salt per day, eat your 5 fruit and veg a day, a guideline would be 2 liters of water per day and 1 oily fish per week. So we're talking about basic nutritional recommendations that if we gave that to a client, they would see an improvement in the quality of their health, or the quality of their nutritional health at very least. So inside the Revision Mastery Bootcamp, this will be Module 3, which is Healthy Eating Guidelines. This was specifically a question for the case study. But you do have at level 3 A&P, level 3 nutrition, there is an exam. So this would be on the personal trainer qualification and the exercise referral qualification. You got 40 questions, 28 to pass, which is 70%, and you got 90 minutes. Okay, so this would be a typical exam question. Which one of the following is a nutritional recommendation, or which one of the following is not a nutritional recommendation? There's about a dozen or so to know, not just from an exam perspective, but also from actually working with a real life client and giving them sound nutritional advice. Okay. Final question is from Danielle, Exercise Referral. She is thinking about signing up. And she's a busy mum. She's recently passed her level 3 personal trainer. So high five to Danielle. She's got 2 kids, 2 young kids, and she works full time as well. So her main question is time. Give me a thumbs up if time, or hands up if time is your biggest barrier when it comes to anything that you want to achieve in life. Whether that's to start a new qualification, go to the gym. We're constantly spinning plates and juggling time. It doesn't matter where you are in this world, you've only got 24 hours a day. You can't get more of it, you can't get less of it, okay? It's what we prioritize and what we put into our day or our time that counts. So that's why for our exercise referral, specifically this question, we've made it super easy. It's all online. You don't have to come to us. You don't have to give up a valuable weekend to complete the course. So the course has got a variety of worksheets. You've got a case study. We have a hypothetical case study as well, so you don't even need to go and find a real person to work with, although that does benefit you. So in an ideal world, you would work with a client, but you could use a hypothetical case study, which a number of our learners do. There's also a practical assessment, and I'm going to say 95% of the learners that come through us for exercise referral do a video assessment, which means you don't have to come to us again. You don't have to go to our Milton Keynes Academy to be assessed. It's as simple as go to your local gym, local studio, sports hall. In fact, a number of learners even record it in the client's home or at their home, because exercise referral allows you to do that. You can do it in a variety of different environments. It's about a 30 to 40 minute video, which is simply uploaded to a USB stick and sent to us in the post. There's loads of ways. It's so easy to do. But the beauty of it is you've got 8 modules. They're all online. You can press play, stop, start, rewind, fast forward whenever you like, which means you can structure your learning in small pockets of time that suit your busy schedule. I think that's the key here. I mean, obviously you've got the manual and your learner LAP, which holds all your coursework to do. I think that the key part to all of this is everybody's in a different position or situation with regards to completing their course. And that's why you've got regular student support, you've got weekly calls, you've got weekly live Q&As with us to hold you accountable. So if you wanted to complete it across an 8-week time frame, we're going to push you, because that's what I believe a good coach does, to complete within 8 weeks. But you know, looking at your question, Danielle, you're busy, you're working, you got kids, you're running around left, right and centre is what you said on your email. you're recently qualified, so all this knowledge is very new to you as well. You might decide to do it across 14 weeks, in which case we'd structure your learning equally across 14 weeks so that you graduate with your exercise referral certificate and drop in on your doorstep within 14 weeks. On the flip side to that, we have had a record for somebody completing the exercise referral course recently, and they completed in 3 days, which is just phenomenal. There's a lot of work to do, but she put her head down. She took 3 days off work and she said she was going to complete it in 3 days, and she did. So high five to her. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I'm going to spin across to Hayley. What was her name? Who was it? Maria. Very well done. But I think the key here is working out how much time can you prioritize to your studies each week. If you can only prioritize 1 to 2 hours a week, that's okay. It doesn't mean you have to do any more. You just need to make sure that those 1 to 2 hours do actually happen and you do what you said you were going to do each week, so you stay ahead every week and constantly progress. Okay, so it's not that you have too much on. I would say it's a priority of actually placing in regular revision or study sessions, and they don't need to be very long, but they do need to happen, is the key here. So there's our 5 FAQs to achieve top marks in your exam and your course. So number 1 was from Sean, which was a level 2 A&P, all about muscles. You need to know 26 of them. Then we had Jenny over to principles, and it was about hyperkyphosis. Then we went to Lisa for level 3 A&P around spindles and GTOs. Spindles are receptors for length and GTOs are for tension. Then we went to nutrition with Tony, and we looked at nutritional recommendations, and we just finished off with a time barrier from Danielle thinking about exercise referral. So I can see a ton of questions coming in below. I appreciate I've already been on here 15 minutes, so I'm going to press pause and I'm going to answer all of the questions over the next hour or so max, and I'm going to type them up and reach out to you individually. Outside of that, I hope you've had a wicked time with us today. We've gone through 5 FAQs to achieve top marks, and I will see you very shortly on the next live. See you later.